All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I've been on YouTube, but like I said, I'm way more active in the DeFi Moneyverse Telegram group. Shouts out to all the individuals in that group. If you want to join that group, the link is below. It's totally free. All right. No need to spend your time alone in the bear market trying to deal with these turbulent times in crypto and stocks for sure. All right. But I just want to let you guys know what I'm seeing, because what's playing out right now is what I called out a few months ago when Bitcoin started to break down. Right. So what we can see here, what I've been looking at since around the December time frame here, is I've been looking at the 1 week, but even more so, I've been looking at the 2 week. All right. And what I've seen on the 2 week is this 100 SMA. This has been strong support historically for Bitcoin for quite a long time. Okay. And I like to look at the larger time frames to get a better picture of what's going on larger time frames. Larger time frames trump lower time frames, right? When we talk about TA, right? And probabilities. All right. So you can see here, I have some price points that I called out and I charted here. All right. Now, this is what I think is going on. I think that Bitcoin really needs to close this 2 week candle above 22K, right? And this 2 week candle closes in 4 days and 4 hours. All right. So if we close below 22K, that's not going to be good. And I'm going to have a strong feeling that 13K and maybe even 8K or 9K is a possibility for Bitcoin. All right. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but back when Bitcoin was around 45K, I said it's something we need to prepare ourselves for mentally, that Bitcoin would get down to 20K. Right. And that was about 3 or 4 months ago. All right. So, it's not too far fetched to think that we can't dump another, what would that be? 40% from where we are now. Like, it's not too far fetched. Now, I mean, we could find support in this area, right? Because we're near the previous all-time highs from the 2017, early 2018 bull run. All right. We could just chop around this area for a while between 20 and 22K. But my gut tells me that Bitcoin may come down to this area because there's a lot of support here. Right. Now, some people say, yeah, well, take a look at the log scale on the weekly. Well, if you take a look at the log scale on the weekly, right, you can see Bitcoin is flirting with this moving average here, which he has in the past, and he was always able to recover, even if he wicked below it. You see, we wicked below it here. This is on the weekly chart. I flipped back to the weekly chart. We wicked below it here, and we closed right along the ribbon. And then the next week after that, the same, right? And then we're able to make our way up from there. That was the COVID crash, right? And here in 2018, we bounced right off of it, right? Okay, so now if we go to the 2 week chart on the log scale, we can see a similar situation here where Bitcoin is really trying to hold this 100 SMA on the 2 week. All right. So if he loses this, that ain't going to be good. But I really like to take a look at the 2 week to get a good idea of what Bitcoin is really going to do, or just what the overall trend is. I like to look at the weekly and the 2 week. Right. So What happens on the 2-week chart takes a little bit more time to actually play out, right? So you got to keep that in mind if you start looking at the 2-week. All right. You might be able to find a better entry if you're trying to long or short on the smaller time frames. But right now is not a time for me to really try to trade this market. This is more of a buyer's market for me in preparation for the next bull run. Okay. So like I said, we really need to close this 2-week candle above the 22K zone. All right. If not, whether we drop down to 13K will be decided within the next, I think, 2.5 weeks. We will know, I think. And it could happen after that. We could have a rally up, back up to this area here, and then roll back over and make lower lows. Okay. So that's what I see going on with Bitcoin. Now let's see Kadena. All right, now taking a look at Kadena, I can see that Kadena on the weekly chart, he's sitting right at support here. Here's a support line here. This is a support zone here. He's sitting right around support. If he loses this, if we lose this $1.30 zone, we could see Kadena come down to this area here. Well, I already called out these price points here. So we could see Kadena at around 70 cents, basically under $1. And if we lose that, we could see Kadena come down to the 40-cent range. Now, a lot of people are accumulating Kadena, so there's a lot of buy pressure, right? So there's some real strong support where he is right now between 130 and 180. All right, 130 and 170. But, you know, these are probabilities. All right, let's take a look at Lcx. Let me switch back to auto. I'm on the log scale still. All right, so Lcx, not a lot of chart data here. Yeah, so what Lcx we can see here. Let's see. I'm on the weekly. Let's go to the 2-day. I like to look at the 2-day sometimes too. So what's going on with Lcx? Lcx looks like he's trying to stay above that 5-cent region. Seems to be a strong support for the time being. All right. So we could see Lcx wiggle his way down this channel. He could make another run for 8 and roll back over and just keep doing this until he finally truly reverses trend. All right. Where's my marker? Yeah, so we could have something like this, right? Like this, and even some spikes along the way like this until we finally break out and get out of this channel. All right, so that, I think that's what we're looking at with Lcx. All right. So if that were to happen, let's just do some potential price points. So we got resistance there, and then we could come back and bounce around here. For example, so we could wick below the 5-cent area, all right, and even down as low as 1.3 cents potentially. But I would say maybe somewhere here around the 2.5 to 3 cent zone is where we could see Lcx should Bitcoin lose that 20K support. Yeah, guys, tough times for crypto. The Fed just raised interest rates by 75 basis points. Okay, stocks seem to have responded to decently, right? But crypto looks like we're having a little bounce right now, but you know, this could be short-lived. This could totally be short-lived, guys. All right, so you know, I think it's really going to come down to how Bitcoin closes this 4-day this 2-week candle within the next 4 days. All right, I'm looking for a big move, a decisive move, or we could just trade sideways, just chop between 20k and 22k until Bitcoin figures out what direction he wants to go, right? So I mean, Bitcoin could just do something like this where he's just right, and then he breaks down or he breaks up, right? So what we could see also, we could see some type of bounce to these zones here, because we fell really fast. All right, so we could see a bounce back up to around the 27k zone before we roll over again, and then another bounce around 35, and we, you know, still in a downtrend, like, but we'll see how this plays out. We'll have to see how this plays out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back soon. Deuce Crypto out.